In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I believe the most optimal way to set your training up if you are looking to train 3 days per week as a busy guy that wants to get into incredible shape. And guys, I cannot tell you enough that this is more than enough to build an amazing physique. And I will put on the screen now a load of results of guys that are super busy, over the age of 30, a lot of them have got kids, busy jobs, travel, and all they have committed to is 3 days of training per week. Maybe at the start, maybe they've kind of pushed to 4, once they've got into a really good routine, they're seeing amazing results, but some of them just 3, all the way through there. Trust me, it is not what you do in the gym that gives you the biggest result. It is actually what you do out of the gym. And if you know how to structure your 3 days as optimally as you can, you will get amazing results. And this literally will break down to probably 1% of your entire week. Let me just make this really clear on actually what's required to get results. And this is why it absolutely baffles me when people say, I haven't got the time, or I'm sat on a call with someone, they're like, yeah, I just can't do it at the moment, Chris. I'm gonna have to wait a few months or so because I just haven't got the time at the moment. It is 1% of if you honestly, you have to eat anyway. So where the time towards eating food is like, well, we have to eat to survive. You have to sleep anyway. All right, there might be a little bit of extra work on the step count, possibly, but realistically, you don't even need to really do steps when it comes to being in a calorie deficit. We can get around that part, but one part we can't get around is the training. So if you can commit 3 lots of 45 minutes to an hour to your week right now, you have the ability to have a 6-pack in 90 days, in 6 months, depending on obviously your starting position. Promise you that now. You have the ability to look and feel incredible. So if you are making excuses in your head that you don't have the time, that's literally what they are. They're excuses that are probably holding you back right now and will always hold you back until you really start to take action and understand properly what is required. Well, today is your treat. I'm going to break down exactly what it is we need to do when it comes to training and just try and make it as simple as possible, right? This is tried, this is tested, this is what we give to a lot of our guys that are super busy. So try not to make this too lengthy, guys. I'm going to try and give you lots of value and not too much of a long amount of time so you can take a lot away from this. What do we do? So we're going to go with full body training, okay? Now, most people might think that's not why I read in the magazine. I thought I would be doing chest day. I thought I'd be doing arms day. That is not how you get the best results if you are a busy guy. Training a muscle group once per week with way too much volume per muscle group on that workout is not what leads to amazing results, right? There is a point of diminishing returns in your training where you get past the point of doing, let's say, like 8 working sets. No, that's too much. 6 working sets for a muscle group. Let's say you do more than 6 working sets on your chest and you then go into wanting to do 10 to 15 in one workout. Your body can't recover from that. You've already gone past the point where you're making progress. If you did 6 quality sets or 3 quality sets of incline press, and then you did another 3 quality sets of flies, and then you did 3 quality sets of dips, all the way spread from Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's 9 working sets across the week. And let's say you just did a drop set on press ups, or just did press ups till failure on one of your workouts is the 10th set, 10 working sets. If you can do that, you're going to get way better results than just smashing 3 or 5 exercises of chest back to back in one workout, because your body's already got to the point as to where it's past that fatigue point, right? You've already broken the muscle fiber down. It's not going to go any further. So it does not make sense to do these bodybuilder splits when you are a busy guy. And I know 3 days might not be the most 3 full body sessions, might not be the most sexy, because you might want to go and smash a chest day. But if you honestly want the best results, and I know any of you watching this right now are here because you want the most optimal and best and most effective results, I would be doing 3 full body sessions. And look, if you really don't enjoy that and you're a guy and you want to smash the upper body, the other option that you've got is essentially this. It's 2 upper and 1 lower. And this is also fine. And I give this split to a lot of guys. And that essentially means that we do upper body Monday, lower on the Wednesday. Sometimes I just throw a little bit of arms on the lower workout as well. So lower and arms, potentially, because guys want bigger biceps. And then we do 1 more upper body session on the Friday, right? So we've then got 2 upper, 1 lower. That's another split that you can also use. But honestly, the most effective is probably still going to be full body. If I'm being totally honest, I still feel that you're going to get the most out of, following something like this when it comes to your training. So that's the first thing, guys. What's the split? This is how I would go about it. 3 5-day training split should consist of 3 full body sessions. And if that's all you can commit to right now, honestly, as I said, you will get amazing results. I promise you that now. That is more than enough to be able to train. So how would we go about this? What you want to be trying to focus on is this. And I kind of said this a second ago, but it's making sure that you aim to do around 10 working sets roughly per muscle group. Okay, on the smaller ones, maybe you might not quite get to this, but yeah, roughly 10 working sets is what we want to be aiming for across the week, right? So we might, as I said to you, we might end up doing 4 working sets of a muscle group on Monday, 3 working sets of a muscle group on Wednesday, 3 working sets on a Friday. So across the week, we've accrued the right amount of volume to get that progressive overload. Around 10 to 20 is what people say, but unless you're training 5 days per week, you're not going to hit 20 working sets of a muscle group on 3 days per week. But it is honestly about quality over quantity. If you go to the gym to really try and improve, you're still going to get amazing results when it comes to this. And that brings me on to my second principle, okay, which again is super important that we need to start considering. And this is the key with any of your training sessions, but even more so when you're training 3 days per week. Progressive overload. So we should be trying to go to the gym to improve. If you just do your 3 working sets of incline press on a Monday every week, but every week you have improved, or even if it's a tiny amount, even if you just squeeze an extra rep out on your first set, some weeks you might push the weight up. If you do that every single week of a big, like compound exercise, like an incline dumbbell press, it's hitting your triceps, it's hitting your front delts, it's hitting your pecs, you constantly improve on that every single week, you will build muscle, right? You will build muscle significantly if you go to the gym with intention of progressive overload and improvement, right? That's what this comes down to. It's quality, it's not quantity. It's how can we make sure that the training is as effective as it possibly can be. So focus on every single one of those sessions, every single one of those exercises that you do. It should be about progression. And this is why I said you don't need to do more than this if you are smashing progressive overload, because this is more than enough. This is what our body needs. If we're getting 10 quality sets across the week per muscle group, and we're making sure that we hit progressive overload, you are going to build an absolutely insane physique. I promise you that now. Next up, okay, on making sure this is what we do, is the majority of your exercises should be focused on compound movements, right? When I say compound movements, these are like multi-muscle, multi-joint exercises. So not just doing isolation work. Now, this is why most machines, unless again, you're training more regularly, they don't give you as much bang for your buck, because a machine is fixed, right? It's very much like there's not as much recruitment of muscle fibers that there are when we do compound. If you do like an incline press, think about the stability that has to go into that exercise for you to bring those dumbbells up. You've got your triceps, your front delts, right? You've got your pectorals, all of those muscles going into it, right? Whereas if we just focus on an incline chest press, which is okay, there's nowhere near as much recruitment. You're still going to be hitting your triceps and your front delt, but nowhere near as much as what you would do if you were hitting a big compound incline press. There's a lot more that goes into that. And these are the exercises that give you way more bang for your buck. So if you're going to the gym, you're training full body, you want to try and focus a lot of your exercises on compound movement. And that's what I mean, an exercise that is going to require multiple muscle groups to be used for that exercise. So these are going to be things like your squats, these are going to be things like your rows, pull-ups, amazing compound exercise, incline dumbbell press, amazing compound exercises. Now, of course, there are certain exercises that you will still naturally do that are isolation, like a lateral raise is a great exercise because you can't really replicate that with a compound. You know, even things like your bicep curls, of course, like you still, if you're a guy, you're probably going to want to do a little bit of arms. But if you focus a lot of your exercises on bigger compound movements, these are like the key things when it comes to getting good results, bang for your buck, and pushing up testosterone as well, right? Testosterone is massively risen when we are lifting heavy weights. Heavy compound, increase testosterone production, feel better, build more muscle, everything moves in the right direction. So this is why we need to be focusing on these. So guys, these are like the 3 sort of, biggest principles when it comes to training 3 days per week. You make sure you nail these 3 things already, like that's going to put you in a really good position. So how do we go about the actual breaking up of these workouts? Now, what I will do is explain to you exactly how I'll go about this. Now, day 1, I'm not going to break down every single exercise that you should do in these workouts. I will link below a full body training program that's 3 days per week that I will happily give to you guys that you can go and download for free so that you can see exactly roughly what this looks like. This is a bit of an example, but let me just explain to you roughly how I'll go about it. So day 1 is going to be like, it's not a push workout, but the first exercise, okay, is going to be this. Okay, so let's just put exercise number 1. To make it clear, I don't want you to think this is a push day because it's not a push day. It's a full body workout, but exercise number 1 is going to be a big push. So we're going to do like, again, you probably realize now that I like an incline dumbbell press. So we're going to go for an incline dumbbell chest press. That's going to be our key exercise that we're going to make sure we progress on for a push day. So heavy push exercise is our day 1 full body workout exercise, right? Day number 2 is probably going to be something like this. So let's just say now we're on a Wednesday. So I would go for this one, right? So heavy quad exercise. Of course, guys, we can't be skipping legs. So this could be something like, obviously you could go for a back squat. Hack squat is a really good exercise if you don't want to quite go as aggressive as a back squat. Bulgarian split squat, leg press, these are still good exercises. Focus on a heavy quad movement for your day 2 full body workout, right? And then day 3 is going to be a heavy pull. So what do I mean by heavy pull? This could be your deadlifts, this could be a hinge exercise, like an RDL, or this could be a heavy row, this could be a pull-up, it could be a weighted pull-up. Get good at pull-ups, right? You could put that as your day 3 full body exercise. That's a massive way in which, again, you're going to build full body, upper body strength. So this is like roughly how you want to focus on splitting up these 3 workouts. First day is going to be a heavy push exercise to start. Second day is going to be a heavy quad exercise to start. Third day is going to be a heavy pull exercise to start, right? And then it just means that you've kind of got a little bit of an agenda on each of those workouts, because again, we're using the push-pull legs mentality, but we're kind of making it fit into our full bodies. And then apart from that, once you've done that, guys, you just want to make sure that you try and hit each major muscle group with a single exercise throughout that workout. So let's just say here that we've done our day 1, we've got our incline press. We might then go into a lat pull down. After that, we then might go into a leg extension, or we might go into a Bulgarian split squat to keep it more compound. Then we might decide after that, we go into a bit of a lateral raise or an overhead press or something like that to, like, again, like really hit our front delts. Then we might get from there, decide, right, we're going to go into a bicep curl, superset that with a tricep push down. So you can kind of see that, like, we're roughly making sure that we're hitting each of those major muscle groups in our workouts to make sure we're hitting our full body across the entire day. Really, really simple. And you might decide that you do around 7 exercises per workout. 6 to 7 is probably is the sweet spot. Around 3 working sets and around 6 to 12 reps for each of those exercises, okay? So let's just put this down, guys. This is the last progression here, so you guys know exactly how that looks. We're gonna say 1 exercise per body part, which is obviously very simple, so you can kind of split up however you want, around 6 to 12 reps, roughly. And then we're gonna make sure we're doing probably around 3 working sets, I think is more than enough. And obviously you might have like 1 warm-up set in there. Cool. So these are the principles, right? So we're gonna have, let's say, 1 exercise per body part, like I've just explained. 6 to 12 reps roughly is going to be like your rep range throughout. You could go a little bit higher on some as well, maybe even up to like 15 reps. Don't really need to go any less than 6. There's no real point in that. And then third one would be making sure that we're hitting around 3 working sets per muscle group. You might do 1 warm-up set and then you're into 3 working sets. Track your workouts, use progressive overload, and try and get stronger during each of those times. Realistically, guys, if you do this properly, you're efficiently, you've got the right plan, the right structure, you put your headphones in, you don't end up talking to people and getting distracted, you should be in and out of the gym within an hour, right? I'm not accounting for things like cardio or steps, you know, whatever, like however that has to be. But if we are just thinking about the most effective time of you spending in the gym, which is going to be lifting weights and getting stronger, 1 hour of this is going to be more than enough for you to get incredible results. And if you follow this structure and this framework, that is all it ever needs to be as well. Like, you could literally just do this for the next 5, 10, 20 years of 3 days of weights per week, and you'll continue to have a healthy metabolism, a high amount of muscle mass, and you will look and feel fantastic. You don't need to be in the gym 6, 7 days on a complete slog like a lot of people think is required, because that is not what's required at all. And this is just what leads to a lot of inconsistency. Guys start with 5 days, they follow that for 3 or 4 weeks, fall off the wagon, they don't train for then a year, and then they try and get back on it again, and they do another 5-day split for a couple of months, and then they fall off. It is about being consistent. And if 3 days is all you feel like you can truly commit to, make sure you stay consistent with 3 days throughout the year, all the time, no matter what, and you will always continue to get great results. So anyway, guys, I hope you found this video useful. As I say, I'm going to link below a free 3-day program that you can go and follow and have a look at. Make sure you go and do that. And as always, make sure you smash the like button, make sure you hit subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.